Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is what to do if you're married to a verbally abusive wife. Well, this is a really hard subject, and I hate to talk about verbally abusive wives too much. I myself personally was married to one, and being married to a verbally abusive wife that ruined my life for that period of time, and it's taken me a lot of, I would call, extraordinary effort to kind of recreate my life to be a happier man. And I have my website, happierman.com, and I talk about all the fun things about life and the good things about life that can be yours if you're no longer married to a verbally abusive wife. And you'll notice on that website I have a book called Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man with the 3-Step System. And I have a long article describing the book, and it's mostly about my life and how I found the courage to leave her. Because once you've been married to a verbally abusive woman for too long, you won't have any courage, you won't have any self-confidence, you won't have any self-esteem, and it's going to take a massive mind shift on your part. And the first part of the book is changing your mind about this situation that you found yourself in, and kind of deciding that you matter, and that the only way for you to get out of this bad situation is for you to leave. And that is the short story on what to do if you're married to a verbally abusive wife, is you have to leave her. There's no other option. There's nothing else you can do. You know, think of the horrible life you're going to continue to leave if you stay. Think of how, you already have a bad life, and the longer you stay, the worse it's going to be. Now, there may be some value in doing some preparations while you're still married to make the things a little bit smoother when you leave. And I have some of that guidance available in the book, how to make it better, maybe how to survive while you're waiting to leave. There might be different times of the year, especially if you have children, that might be better for you to move on than others. But the evidence would show that a woman who has shifted from being nice to being mean and verbally abusive to you, that there's no evidence to indicate that she can shift back to being nice, that really no amount of counseling will help her. And it's very sad to think of a lady who has chosen verbal abuse as her method of choice to control her husband. She's probably damaged herself in some way. And I'm only pointing this out because I have all these articles about verbal abuse, and I have the book Leave Your Wife, and I'm kind of espousing a lifestyle of being a single guy, a bachelor, as kind of the ultimate happiness tool for yourself. But I don't hate my ex-wife. She's still special in my heart. We have the beautiful children. I could have never had the children without her, right? And there was quite a bit of good in our lives. So you trying to be a happier man, you don't want to come from this position of hate with your wife, and hopefully soon to be ex-wife. You're going to come from a position of you matter as a man, and if the most important person in your life when you're a man is your wife, and if your wife cannot treat you the way that you need to be treated for your own happiness and well-being, then you have to leave her. And that's what you do when you're in a bad situation. You leave it. Any bad situation you're in, you have to leave. Leaving is the only solution, and it's foolish to think otherwise. There's very rarely any situations that you can't improve by just leaving. And I would argue that for your situation with a verbally abusive wife, that is the only solution. My wife and I went to counseling. The counselor basically said, you guys are beyond repair. As soon as we got into the counselor's office, my wife was just screaming and stomping and screaming, both at me and the counselor. So, we know this lady has got some issues of anger issues and whatever. So, women who are verbally abusive are basically very angry for whatever reason, and the only way to deal with a real angry person is to just walk away from them. I would like you to go and check out my book, Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man on the 3-Step System, with the 3-Step System available on the ahappierman.com website. I think that it would do you a lot of good to read that article, check out that book. You might want to buy the book, because men who have been verbally abused, you're not going to be anywhere near the man that you once were, or the man you would like to be. You're going to be basically shell-shocked. It's being verbally abused by your wife is, to me, it's basically a form of torture that you're living through. You basically have almost a post-traumatic stress disorder from this, and it's gonna, you gotta get this behind you. And if you need some guidance, get that book. It's going to help you kind of make your decision about the damage that's getting done to you. And you don't want to even think about it as like a hate and animosity to your ex-wife. You might need to be a little bit, get real angry enough to do something about, and the something is the leaving. But at some point, it just flips, and when you leave and you start the process of the divorce, and you start going through the steps necessary to recreate your life into something better, you don't really have to have any hate. It's all about being happy and doing things to make yourself happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, prosperous, abundant, and move on with a free type of a life. To find the things that make you happy, and but none of that is possible if you're continuing to live with this verbally abusive wife. She is not going to let you have any real time for happiness-inducing moments. And that, a happy lifestyle, a happier man lifestyle, is you're spending most of your time doing things that are making you happy. You're going to be trying to find a way to make your living that makes you happy, that gives you satisfaction. The things you do in your spare time are all to give you happiness and satisfaction. You're going to be trimming out all the things you don't want to do that don't make you happy. But that's, in a nutshell, you want to try to, the only solution is to leave, and I would recommend you give that a lot of thought if you find yourself married to a verbally abusive wife. All for now.